Hey, I'm Mark, and this is Chase Your Taste. Hey, it's game day, so another game day food. We're going to make honey bourbon barbecue meatballs. So what do you say we get to cooking? Here are our ingredients for our honey bourbon barbecue meatballs. Now, of course, you can't have honey bourbon barbecue without bourbon. I've got barbecue sauce. I've got honey. I've got about 2 pounds of ground beef. If you don't want to make as many, scale it down to 1 pound. I've got some ground chili and fried garlic. That's going to put a little kick in it. If you don't want a little heat in it, leave that out. I've got some brown sugar. I've got some panko breadcrumbs. I've got some fresh herbs. I've got some basil. I've got some rosemary. And then I've got some thyme. This is dried thyme. I didn't grow any thyme this year. And I've got some salt and pepper. So there you have it. Let's get to making some meatballs. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our meatballs. So we've got to get our ingredients into our meat. So the first thing we're going to add to our meat is some salt and pepper. Salt and pepper this to taste. Some salt. Some pepper. We're going to add our herbs. I've got some fresh thyme, or I'm sorry, some fresh rosemary that I chopped up. And some basil. Fresh basil. We're going to add our breadcrumbs. About a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. And our egg. And we're also going to add these ground chilies with fried garlic. I get these at our Oriental store. Now you don't have to put this in there, because this is going to give it a little bit of kick. About a tablespoon. And I'm going to put some garlic in here, so I'll be right back. So we're also going to add some garlic, and this would be about 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. And something I forgot when I give the intro on the ingredients, something that was real important, some onion. Now this is about this is a medium onion. Now I put these in the food processor because I wanted small chunks of onion, so we're going to put that in there. Now we're going to get this mixed up. Don't overwork this, just work this until everything is combined. And this smells really good already. Because if you overwork this with your hands, you'll break down the fats that are in your meat. Now you can also use a wooden spoon. I'll show you that here real quick. Dry my hands off. So to avoid breaking down your fat, you can get in here with a spoon. You can even use a stand mixer if you like. I mean, some of y'all, you know, as we get older, we'll get some arthritis in the hands and can't handle it. Yeah, we'll get this mixed up. Oh, had a little bit of meat get up out of there. Didn't want to be a meatball. All right, that's looking good. So once we get this done, then we're going to make our meatballs. And we'll put them out. Today I'm going to cook these out on my flat top. Now if you don't want to put it on the flat top, use a skillet and fry them up, but this makes us some meatballs. Now to form our meatballs. Now I'm using this little ice cream scoop, whatever you want to call it. This is a fairly big one. I'm going to make some big meatballs. Now if you don't want meatballs this big, they make these smaller. I've got 2 other sizes. So we're just going to simply get our This just helps out to make a nice looking meatball, and then just roll it around on your hand and make a nice looking meatball. Makes it a little easier. Alright, so I'm going to make these meatballs. I'm not going to bore you with this. So once I get my meatballs made, I'll be right back. There are our meatballs. I made 28. Like I said, this is about 2 pounds of meat. So if you wanted less, just use about a pound. Use smaller ice cream scoop or cookie scoops and make smaller ones if you wanted more to go around. What do you say we get these out on the flat top and get them cooking up? We had a slight change of plan. It started raining outside, so I wasn't going to fire up the flat grill. So what we're going to use is the iron skillet. We've got some olive oil heating up in my pan. So we're going to start putting our meatballs on there. Don't overcrowd them. We'll have to cook them in batches. And we're not looking to cook these all the way through. We just want to get a nice crust on the tops and the bottoms, because we're going to let the barbecue sauce do the rest of the cooking. We're going to put this in our crock pot, and we're going to cook them on high for about 3 to 4 hours. Oh, these already smell good cooking. So there we have our meatballs in. We're going to let these brown about 2-3 minutes. On one side, we'll flip them over to another, and we'll transfer it back over on the sheet pan. Now I've got this sheet pan lined, makes less cleanup. So when I get ready to flip these over, I'll get back with you. All right, so let's turn our meatballs over. See, that's all we're looking for, is just a little bit of a browning on the top. I'm going to fire down just a little bit. I had it up on a medium high. Now you don't want to overpower your meat with a bunch of seasonings and stuff, because you want the barbecue sauce, the honey bourbon barbecue sauce, to be your star of the meatballs. Because I was thinking, you know, I could have put some Worcestershire sauce in these meatballs or something like that, but I didn't want the meatballs to, you know, the flavor of the meatballs to overpower the flavor of the barbecue sauce that I'm going to be making. Now you use your own, your favorite barbecue sauce. Me, I'm going to use some Head Country barbecue sauce. There will be a video on my own barbecue sauce that I make, but you know, in the interest of time, I'm showing, you know, I'm trying to show y'all these game day foods, something that where you're not in the kitchen too long. That's why we're going to put these in the crock pot. All right, so we got these turned over. So when these cook up, we'll cook up the rest of them, and then we'll get back to putting them into the crock pot. Hey, so while our meatballs are cooking, we're going to prepare our honey bourbon barbecue. So what I've got here is about 2 cups of barbecue sauce. Use your favorite barbecue sauce, or you can make your own. So I've got about 2 cups of barbecue sauce in here. About a 1/2 cup of onion. I'm sorry, not onion. About a 1/2 cup of honey. And get that down in there. And if you can, try to use some local honey. Help them guys out. Alright, so we got our honey. Then we're going to add about a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. I don't want to get me a spoon. So we're going to use about a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Now it looks a little bit more, but it's not packed. And then we're going to use the star of the show, some bourbon. Now use your favorite bourbon. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a real bourbon drinker, but I made this bourbon barbecue sauce a couple of days ago. I liked it. So we're going to use about a 1/4 cup of bourbon. All right, we're going to get that stirred in. Now, for those who don't like heat, this is as far as you, whoa, I'm making a mess. This is as far as you would need to go. But me being who I am, I like a little bit of heat, not a whole lot. So I'm going to kick it up a little bit. Like my meatballs, I'm going to put some of this ground chilies with fried garlic in there, just to give it a little bit of a heat, about a tablespoon. Or you can put, some people put cayenne pepper in it, or whatever your favorite. You can put some sriracha or whatever to it. But that's our barbecue sauce. Now what we'll do is we'll put this in the crock pot, and then when our meatballs are done, we'll put it in with the meatballs in with the barbecue sauce, and we'll cook them up for about 3-4 hours on high in the crock pot. This is the last of our meatballs, so we're going to get these out of the pan. If you see that both sides have been browned, and that's all we're looking for. And we're not looking to cook these all the way through it, like I said. So we're just going to set these over here on our sheet pan here, and then we're going to transfer it over to our crock pot. And as these are cooking up in the crock pot, they're going to absorb that honey bourbon barbecue sauce flavor into them. Turn our fire off here. All right, what do you say we get these over there in the crock pot, and let's get to cooking some meatballs. Let's put these meatballs in our crock pot. I'm gonna put a little bit of this barbecue sauce on the bottom. And then we'll put our meatballs in, and then we'll cover them with the sauce. All right. Now, you don't have to make your own meatballs. You can use the frozen kind. I won't fault you for that. If you're pressed for time, there's nothing wrong with that. They make some pretty good Italian meatballs and stuff like that. You could even check out my chicken meatballs that I made here a few weeks ago. Check out that recipe. You can throw those together and put some chicken meatballs in here. I know some people are not into the beef. You know, you can make the chicken meatballs. Just anything. And this is a great game day appetizer, meal, whatever. So like I said, we're going to set this on high, and we're going to cook these for 3-4 hours. It's going to make the house smell really good. And as you can see, both sides are browned. Just set them in there loosely, just like that. Now we're ready to put the rest of the barbecue sauce on there. Now, if you're in a hurry, you can always put this on the stove in a Dutch oven and cook them up. Look at that. Oh, that looks so good. We're going to make sure we get all those meatballs covered up in this barbecue sauce. Now, some of y'all are worried, hey, that's got alcohol in it. The alcohol is going to evaporate from it. And so it'll be all right for the kids, or not. I mean, you don't have to feed the kids this, but like I said, the alcohol will burn off on it, so or evaporate out of it, and then all that flavor is going to absorb into those meatballs, and you're going to have a great game day meal. So we're going to let this cook, and then we'll be right back. We'll come back about halfway through. We'll take a look at it and give it a little bit of a stir. All right, be right back. All right, it's been about an hour and a half, so we're going to check these out. Ooh, look at that. All right, yeah. So we're going to get these stirred up a little bit. And see, like I told you, this is going to cook down in that meat, or the barbecue sauce. So these will be ready in about an hour and a half. That smells good. All right. See you in about an hour and a half. All right, let's take a look at these. These are done. There they are. They look delicious. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one of these on a plate, and we're going to taste it. So we're going to grab our meatball. And put it on a plate right here. And let's give this a try. All right, what do you say we give these meatballs a try? They're nice and tender. Those are good. Now, like I said, the alcohol's burned off or evaporated off of it. It doesn't have a real strong bourbon taste to it, but it's got a little bit of a taste to it. These are good. So why don't you give these a try? Let me know how you like them. And don't forget, chase your taste.